This is KGW News at noon.
Temperatures around the area are climbing this afternoon. Now, it's only in the 80s in downtown Portland right now, but we could see close to triple digits later in the day. This is the start of a heat wave that's going to last the rest of this week. Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Drew Carney. A lot of people are coming up with ways to beat the heat and stay safe this week, especially anyone without air conditioning in their home. So Portland General Electric does have a few suggestions to help with that. PGE says if you can, open up your windows early in the morning and at night when it's cooler outside, and then use a fan to bring some of that cooler air inside. During the daytime hours, try to keep your house shaded with curtains or blinds covering those windows that get the most sun. They also say try not to use your washing machine, your dryer, dishwasher, even avoid taking hot showers during the middle of the day to keep heat from building up inside your house. And there are a few other things that PGE says you can do as well.
Set your hot water heater at 120, so reduce that thermometer. That can save money. LED light bulbs are a great investment. They generate less heat in your home. They also help conserve energy and will take a pretty big chunk out of your energy bill.
If you do have AC, PGE says you can save a little bit of money cooling your house during the heat wave by setting your thermostat at 76. Setting it at 76 instead of 70 degrees can shave about $13 off your monthly bill. There's a burn ban in place for all of Multnomah County. It went into effect at 8 o'clock this morning, so that means no recreational campfires, fire pits, or burning yard debris. People can still barbecue, but Multnomah County officials say residents need to make sure that coal and ash are taken care of properly when you're done. All right, Chris McGinnis, I asked you a few minutes ago how hot it was in downtown Portland. You said just over 80, so we're going to make a big jump between now and the end of the day.
Yeah, pretty significant. In fact, in just the last couple of minutes, we have worked our way back up to about 82.5. So there you go, from the 20 minutes ago that you asked me that question, right? At the airport, we're up to 85 degrees now at PDX with fairly moderate humidity. It's 86 right now in Hillsborough, 89 in Sherwood. In the big picture across the state right now, the Dow's already up to 93. Same story in Pendleton. The North Coast right now pretty toasty in Astoria at 80. That's about as warm as you're going to get there, maybe a smidge warmer. The coast will be the place to escape the intense heat over the next couple of days. But for folks inland, this peach shading is a heat advisory, and that bright magenta color that you see here that covers basically all of Clark County down to Salem. So Vancouver south of Salem, including the Portland metro area, under an excessive heat warning. That kicks in right now and lasts Tuesday, Wednesday through the day, Thursday to 9 p.m. on Thursday evening. With that, in that area, we anticipate temperatures climbing to about 98 degrees or so today, and possibly even a little bit hotter today. I should say hotter for Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's the plan for the rest of this afternoon. 85 at PDX now. I've got us at 94 at 3 and 98 to finish off our day today. As we mentioned, probably a couple of degrees warmer tomorrow. More on that and when we see a cool down in our 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, we do have a few more heat-related stories here. Multnomah County, Washington County, and the city of Portland have all issued emergency declarations because of this week's heat. So cooling shelters will open in Multnomah County as soon as tomorrow. In the meantime, community organizations are set to do their part to help people who are most vulnerable during extreme heat. In addition to its regular meal services, Portland's Blanchet House in Old Town is offering water, clean shirts, and hygiene kits to the homeless.
It's very dangerous for the people that we serve, and so we're going to be pushing out a lot of water. We'll fill up wagons with cold water, and we'll walk around the neighborhood and do welfare checks on people.
Just last year, dozens of people in Oregon died during the heat dome that covered most of the Northwest last June. Almost 80% of those people were 60 and older, and more than 70% of them lived alone. Not everyone who needs to escape the heat will have the ability to get to a cooling shelter. KGW's Christine Pitawanish talked to a couple of organizations in Salem that were already checking in on the houseless population there over the weekend.
Yeah, so the plan today is really just getting out into the community and connecting with those that are experiencing homelessness.
Robert Marshall is the emergency manager with the Arches Project, dedicated to addressing housing instability and helping the homeless.
So we have these 5-gallon water containers, and so half of these are filled with Gatorade beverages, and then half of them are filled up with water.
We caught up with Marshall and his team as they were headed to Gear Park in Northeast Salem.
We saw quite a few people that looked like they might be in need of some services.
The goal throughout the week is to spread information about cooling centers while handing out Gatorade, water, and other supplies to people living on the street.
Hey, you! How are ya?
Marshall says after last year's historic heat wave, the team made sure to plan ahead.
But this year we now have a comprehensive plan in place. If the temperatures are this, then we're going to do this. And this is how much staff and anything that we need for it.
And if somebody's in a state of distress because of heat exhaustion or heat stroke, we'll call 911 and we'll get emergency services out there. So it's a pretty broad operation, and it'll go on for the next several days.
Jimmy Jones is the executive director of the Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action Agency, which oversees the Arches Project.
We have to review our maps to check where everybody is.
Here, my love. Let me give you a couple bottles of water. Here, my love.
That man, Xavier, and others in this parking lot are grateful for the help.
I'm grateful because I know what it's like to be by myself.
They bring us water. It helps me a lot. It just makes me feel like somebody cares.
Again, that was Christine Pitawanich reporting for us in Salem over the weekend. We do have a list of cooling shelters all around the area on our website, KGW.com, and that list is growing, by the way, so you can keep checking back there for updates. You can also find a local cooling shelter or transportation to get to a cooling shelter by calling 211. In other local news today, we're still waiting to learn more about a man who was killed by Portland police over the weekend. He was involved in a shooting that was caught on video, although we do want to warn you that the video we're about to show you is graphic. It may be disturbing to some of you. So the shooting happened early yesterday morning on Southeast 148th and Clinton. Officers responded to reports of a domestic violence incident. As they were trying to arrest the man involved, police say he fired a shot and the officer shot back. Police have not released his name, but they did release the name of the officer. Her name is Officer Mina Cavelli Singer. She's been with the Portland Police Bureau for nearly 5 years. Pope Francis is in Canada today. He made the trip to offer an apology for the numerous abuses carried out by the church at Indigenous schools. But Pope Francis continues to deal with health issues, leading to speculation about his future at the Vatican. NBC's Jay Gray is in Alberta with more details.
Hi there, and Pope Francis has now officially begun what he's labeled his pilgrimage of penance. 6 days here in Canada, publicly apologizing for transgressions carried out by Catholic missionaries during colonization. He will start today with a public apology for atrocities that include both physical and sexual abuse by Catholic missionaries, as well as assimilation and cultural genocide. Many, more than 100,000 Canadian Indigenous children pulled from their families and moved into these residential schools. This 6-day trip will take him to several areas where he will make this apology, one that for decades Indigenous leaders have urged the Vatican to make. And this year, many of those leaders traveling to Rome to tell the Pope in person that it needed to be done here on Canadian soil. His schedule will include significant downtime for rest. Of course, the Pope making this trip after canceling a trip just last month to the Congo and South Sudan because of mobility and health issues that continue to plague the pontiff. He does say that he felt it was crucial that he be here, and that's why he's made the trip. It will include a public mass tomorrow here in Edmonton, but again, all of those public appearances will last perhaps an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the most, and they will be broken up by times for him to get some rest. That is the latest here in Edmonton. I'm Jay Gray. Now back to you.